Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Political Waffle. So, I was listening to a lady called Angela Knight, and she's the former CEO of a company called Energy UK, and she was discussing the Rosebank oil field over the weekend. She's a very, very knowledgeable lady, and she knows all about the state of the UK's energy market. Now, the Rosebank oil field, which is currently in the news, currently has approximately 240 million barrels of oil in it. Now, we are able to take 100 million a year or so, so there's only 2.5 years worth of supply left. And the question is, should we continue to take oil from Rosebank? And why all this kerfuffle going on? Are we supposed to get our supplies, our oil from the North Sea, from Qatar? Where are we going to get this stuff from? And a common sense approach is what's required here from our governments and the people in power. The common sense approach is to use our resources and put aside these theoretical views, which are, to be frank, a load of complete rubbish. This is oil we're talking about here. Machines all over the globe run on something called diesel. Big machines, big lorries, big industry, which we do need in modern industrialized countries, run on something called diesel. We ain't getting away from that for quite an amount of time as yet. It's impossible to remove altogether. The government positions this net zero as if we are going to be taking net zero to zero, meaning that there's not going to be any output of these type of old carbon energy that we used to use. This is in fact wrong, this perception. We are going to be using oil and gas to some extent for a very, very long time until there is a massive shift in the inventions that mankind put forward. Is the fact that the largest battery ever conceived by mankind is a glowing ball of heat in the sky called the sun, and could that ultimately power our civilizations in the future? Yes. But we're not there yet. And the government seems to want to push aggressively over and over and over in a certain direction. I myself, as an example, drive a hybrid car. And what my car does when I'm braking, it charges the battery. Now, it doesn't take a genius to work out that all we have to do is make that more efficient. The government doesn't need to get involved. Private industry only needs to make the battery that I have in my car, where I put petrol, and it charges the battery in the car when I press the brake. That just needs to get more efficient to the point where when I press the brake, that charges the battery enough for me to continually drive it all around. But the government is intent on pushing this agenda regardless of sensible points and common sense like that. Now, does Ed Miliband know this? I'm guessing he does. He's not a stupid man. Why then does he push this? Why is this being progressively pushed time and time again by the government, by Ed Miliband? It would seem that the Labour Party wants to continue to push this narrative, this vision. But at some point, we will have to change course, because when we drive off the cliff, hit the wall, when it becomes so ludicrously obvious that this agenda is not going to work, we'll change course. The only problem with that, of course, is that by then, that'll cost the British public a fortune. At the moment, we have the highest energy bills virtually anywhere. How are we going to attract business into the UK when our energy is 5 times more expensive than it is in America? The whole situation is stupid. The Labour Party aren't able to deal with this, and they are locked in some sort of ideological dream that can never work, in my opinion. Thanks for your time.